Hello everyone and welcome to A Slice of My Life. This is my video slash review. I kind of don't want to call it a review. Okay, I'm just going to call it a video about my Kizer Feist. I realized also in my previous two videos where I talked about the Wraith and the Yokai that there was some very soft high-pitched sounds. There seemed to be some kind of a noise or interference in the microphone, so I have to apologize because I wasn't aware of it until I started editing the video and I'm not able to pinpoint why it's happening. So if it happens again in this video, I have to apologize in advance because I've not experienced this issue, and although this is a new microphone, I've used it a couple of times with no issues. So yeah, just give me some time to try and figure that out. Anyway, back to the main focus of this video. I have in front of us here the Kizer Feist, but this is the Blade HQ exclusive version with the reverse Tanto blade as well as carbon fiber scales. Now, I've always been interested in the Feist, but I never had that urge to really buy it. The main reason why I wanted to own a Feist is because I wanted to know how this thing actually flips, because this is, well, arguably the knife that made front flippers popular. I've seen a lot of people flipping their Kizer Feist with no problem, and I've always struggled with front flippers. You guys know I've struggled with my CKF Terra, I've struggled with the Ladybug. I'm not able to just flip it open from the front, and I really wanted to see why this made that popular. Could this be slightly different? And I gotta tell you that it is. So this is what it comes in, a little nice pouch, and this is what the knife looks like. I do have to say that I was hoping that Kizer would offer this in the marble carbon fiber finish instead of the standard carbon fiber weave. And I know I'm kind of asking for a lot because it's the reverse Tanto version that I like, and the reverse Tanto version also has these speed holes here. By the time I decided, yes, I'm going to buy myself a Kizer Feist, the reverse Tanto titanium version, which was the original version, was sold out almost everywhere. But then at Blade Show 2019, I think it was Blade Show 2019, Justin Lundquist, who is the designer of the Feist as well as Kizer Knives, teased all these carbon fiber liner lock versions of the Feist, and I was like, wow, this is really interesting. And mind you, at that point of time, I was super crazy about carbon fiber, especially marble carbon fiber, because I fell in love with all of the Aramis scales for the Para 3. Anyway, enough of me rambling. When this was finally announced, I was like, you know what, I'm not going to wait anymore, I'm gonna get it. And I have to give Alicia a shout out for this, because she was the one that let me know, hey Ben, Blade HQ actually has this in stock right now, it's on sale. And I was like, what? Okay, so I went on, didn't hesitate, bought it, put it on my EDC for a week, and I gotta tell you guys, I'm really surprised at this front flipping action. So I'll show you guys that I can flip it with no problem. It's actually really simple. I'm super surprised at the way this thing works. So once again, let me show you. It's really that simple, and it's quite amazing because initially I was struggling. I was thinking, do I have to put my thumb at this portion of the front flipper to kind of flip it up? So that doesn't seem to be the correct way unless you're really dexterous this way. See, I've always struggled, but if I were to shift the position of my thumb to almost where the tip of my thumb is, onto that corner right there, I could easily just snap it up. And that is really cool because I've never really experienced a front flipper this way. To me, it's more like a commitment. You really got to commit to wanting to open this thing. Then with that solid flick, it just works. I don't know how to explain it, but this thing works so well. The unfortunate thing is I tried the same thing on my SNEX CKF Terra, and I wasn't able to get this kind of snappy action. The next thing I want to say about this front flipper is that yes, you could flip it with your index finger. I don't know if I'll fail, but I'll try. There we go. And you could also flick it open with your middle finger via a snapping action. And I have to apologize because I'm used to holding it down this way where gravity is kind of working in my favor. I've not done it sideways, so this is kind of strange. Let me see if I can adjust my body, shift the chair away to a different location and see if I can. This is so weird. There we go. So it really is just the way you hold it and the orientation. I figured that I could pinch it close to the pivot pin or around the pivot pin kind of, and then have my middle finger right there on the very corner of the blade, and then kind of perform like a snapping action, and so it should just snap open like that. So there's many ways that you could actuate or deploy the Kizer Feist blade, and really that commitment for the front flipper is just something that I've never experienced before. So I really like it. It's quite awesome. If you've not tried the Kizer Feist, and if you're really interested in front flippers, this thing is gonna be really different of an experience than you would imagine. For me, it's like, because my first front flipper really was just a CKF Terra, I just resorted to using the middle finger to flick it open. But for this one, just that, this is really crazy. It's so simple to use. And also I just want to add that, okay, I don't have footage of this, but I did bring this out when I met William for lunch, and I told him like, just don't use the side of your thumb, use the corner of your thumb here, and then just in one solid motion, think about getting this to roll around here, but you really have to commit to it. And then he did it like on his first try. He just went snap, and this thing just works. I think the ergonomics of that, the whole physics and everything, this is just great. So before I get into the other specs of this knife, I want to give you guys a quick size comparison just in case you're not sure about it, and I'll also put specs of this knife on the screen here. And here I have a Para 3. I also have a mini Griptilian. So they're all kind of like roughly in the same size range, but of course the Kizer Feist is smaller in both the overall length and as well as the width of the knife. So it's quite a sleek pocket carry, I gotta say, and it's not aggressive at all. It looks pretty much like a gentleman's knife. I think this carbon fiber works very well. Don't get me wrong, I really like the reverse Tanto version, so the titanium one with the speed holes as well, I like that too. And last but not least, a CRKT pilar that is slightly smaller than the Feist in terms of the overall length, but you could see that it is much chunkier. Alright, so now the size and specs all out of the way, I'm gonna share with you guys what I think about the Kizer Feist. Once again, I want to highlight that this is the Blade HQ exclusive reverse Tanto version with the carbon fiber scales, and this is a liner lock, so I am assuming that this is slightly lighter than the original full titanium frame lock version, but there are steel liners in there. So yeah, I don't really know the weight, and I'm sorry guys, I don't have the other Feist to compare, so just take my word for it. But it is quite a light carry. The ergonomics on this is not that fantastic because you see it's a really straight handle. It's not uncomfortable, but yet it's not the best feeling in terms of ergonomics. You could really just bear down on this with no issue. For this grip, it's great. Change up to this pointer grip, it's fine, no problem as well. You know, even if you want to hold it in a reverse grip, it's not an issue. It's actually really slender here, really thin, so not much of an issue here in terms of ergonomics. Like I said, not uncomfortable, but not the best, but you could just handle this for a long period of time, no issue. You do have some jimping up here on the spine of the blade, but you know, if you're gonna hold it like that, this jimping doesn't really do much. It's actually really slippery up here, but it's I guess it's a give and take because the spine is really nicely rounded and it feels really good, especially when it's folded and you have this in your pocket. It's super comfortable here and it's not going to scratch anything else in your pocket, so that's really a plus point. Now, since we're talking about pocket, it does have a pocket clip, but it is a single direction pocket clip. It's only in this tip up right hand configuration, so you're not able to change up the pocket clip direction anywhere at all, so it's going to be here. And it's not a deep carry pocket clip. Also, I believe that this pocket clip is made in titanium, but it's a little bit tight. It doesn't have too much flex, so I'm afraid that for those of you who have thicker materials for your pants or your pockets, then if you were to pull this too far, it might snap there. It just gives me that fear because the whole thing is a nice solid construction, but it is a little bit thin and it's a bit worrying whenever I do that. Just my opinion, just my opinion. Now, like I mentioned again, this has speed holes and I love the speed holes. I mean, I'm quite a sucker for these kind of things. I think aesthetically it looks really cool. Too bad there's no speed holes on the back, but of course I understand because that's where the lock bar is. And then the blade itself, that reverse Tanto with a very typical, very, I guess, trademark Kizer kind of finish. It's very lightly stonewashed here and I like Kizer's stonewash finish. And you've got the blade steel S35VN, and on the back here you've got Justin Lundquist logo, and it's got the name of the knife here as well. It's got the Feist W, and this is numbered 0064. I don't know why is it called the W, but okay, whatever. If it works, it works. I think it's quite cool. Now I'm gonna re-highlight that I really love the flipping action on this. I really like the front flipper. It works very well on this knife, but what I really dislike is this liner lock here. I'm not able to get my thumb, you see it right there, I think it's just too narrow. It's quite difficult to close the knife. I can't seem to really push that lock bar down with the fat of my thumb, and I always get skin jammed up in there. And because of that, every single time I want to close this knife, I have to use the fingernail on my thumb, kind of twist my thumb in a weird fashion, kind of like that, so that I could push down on it and then close the knife. And that is also the reason why throughout this video so far, you guys might have noticed sometimes when I was closing the knife that it wouldn't just close smoothly, it would kind of jump. And that's because it's quite difficult for me to fully depress the lock bar in this orientation. It's really weird because my thumb is kind of twisted sideways in a strange way. So with that force of my index finger pushing down on the back or the spine of the blade, sometimes it just jumps. So that's the main reason why, and that's the biggest gripe that I have about the Feist. I mean, opening it really is quite fun. Like, just really commit yourself to it and then just snap it open, but it's the closing that you really have to kind of twist it and push it down with your fingernail and then close it. So it's my biggest gripe, and you could see that it's causing a dent in my thumb right now because it's so weird in there. But apart from that, I think this overall is quite a good knife. I could see why it was such a trendsetter. I could see why everyone loved it for that front flipper. I could see why this is kind of like known as the benchmark of front flippers in the knife world, because I mean, like, this front flipper here is really, really good. I think it's executed really well. I think the physics and everything of this is quite cool, but you know, the closing part is really something that is really irking me. And I have to be honest as well, it could be apparent just only on this liner lock version. Maybe the frame lock version is fine, I have no idea. One thing that I wish that they had was Kizer could have considered to recess this area over here a little bit more, just to create a small notch so it'd be easier for your thumb to get in there. Because if you guys look carefully, I'll try and push this lock bar away. See, the liner in there does have that dip, it does have a curve, and also on the scale there is a little bit of a grooving done. I can't seem to get the light for that. Right there, so you can see that curve up there. So there is some work done to try to allow for more space for your thumb to go in there, but it's not enough. I just wish that they would have grooved it in this way. So I might consider doing that on my own, just get like a round rasp file and then just file away here. But if I screw this up, then I'm basically screwed forever. So I gotta see how that works. I gotta try it out. If I don't, then, you know, I'll never get this done. But I believe that if I did that, it'd be a lot easier for me to close up this knife, you know, and it would really improve the overall experience of the Kizer Feist. Now, there's one last thing that I want to say about this, and it's not a positive thing, but however, this is really just a case of me and my OCD, me and my personal design tastes. And what is really irritating me is the fact that this pivot screw is not in the middle of the knife. It's not symmetrically smack in the middle. See all these speed holes going up here? That's perfect, right? It's perfectly in the middle, and then you have this off-center pivot pin or pivot screw. That irks me a lot. That irks me a lot. So maybe it would have looked better on a solid scale instead. Like if I picked scales that did not have these speed holes, then, you know, maybe this would have looked a little bit better. But right now this thing is really irking me. But I do understand that this has to be done due to the, I guess, the whole entire knife construction. Like if you put it this way, and if you look at the knife as a whole like that, you know, with the blade sticking out like that, then yes, that's smack in the middle. But it is something that from a visual perspective, it kind of irks me a little bit. And I know that there are other people out there who share the same sentiments as I do. So yep, that is all of my thoughts on the Kizer Feist Reverse Tanto Blade HQ exclusive carbon fiber version. Wow, that was quite a mouthful to say. No, y'all missed the food. So this is a dessert that is one of Emma's favorite desserts, and this is called chendol. This is from Old Amoy Chendol. We're in Chinatown, and I thought this is just dessert. It doesn't really constitute a whole anyhow try.
Some people say it looks like worms. It does, but it's tasty worms. It's like pandan tasty worms.
Pandan tasty worms. It basically is shaved ice, and then you've got like coconut milk, gula melaka, that's the brown stuff. You got this azuki beans or red beans right there, and you also have this. This is called the chendol, but it's like rice flour, pandan, and basically it's a sweet and cold dessert, right?
4, 3, 2.
So verdict time, everyone. Verdict time. I give this thing 2 fucks. I kind of want to give it 1.5, but you know, I just give it 2 because I was really impressed with that flipping action. That itself really kind of sold me on the idea and kind of helped me to understand why people love front flippers so much. If not for me owning and purchasing this knife and then giving it a go, I probably wouldn't have known this experience at all. So that alone is really well worth the money. And by the way, in case you guys are wondering, this cost $135 purchased off Blade HQ, and it is cheaper than the original full titanium version. I think that one's going for like 160 now, I think. Yeah, kind of in that range. But yeah, for $135, this is a Kizer made product, and it comes with a knife pouch as well. Very nice knife pouch. Pretty good materials, S35VN steel, carbon fiber scales. Here it's a liner lock. It's value for money if you can get past this, you know. It's a very sleek knife offering, very cool gentleman's carry. I gotta say that this is one of the more handsome looking knives that I own, and I don't know, I'm gonna try my best to improve this area for myself, you know, because that's the biggest gripe that I have. If I can get past that, I think I'm gonna love this knife a lot more. So then it might raise my rating to about 2.5 fucks instead of just 1.5 to 2 fucks. But that action here, just the commitment, and then telling yourself I want to flip it open and actually flipping it open, that's something that is not, I should say, non-existent in other knives that I own. See, that happened again right there. It just snapped it down. Yep, and that is it, everyone. Thank you so much for sticking all the way throughout and sharing in this slice of my life. If you like the content and you want to see more, I hope that you will consider subscribing, and if you do, make sure that you hit the bell to be notified of any new uploads that I put out. Also, I run a Patreon page. I'll put a link up here to that in case you want to go check it out, and if you do become a patron of mine, thank you so much in advance. It would really, really help the channel a lot, and it means a lot to me. Once again, everyone, this is the Kizer Feist designed by Justin Lundquist. This is the Blade HQ exclusive reverse Tanto version with the carbon fiber scales, and I will catch all of you in the next slice of my life. Until then, everyone, gaga. Super quick update, I fixed it. That's right, I put a notch there. I just used a file like I said. So I took out the scale, used a file, and then I used a fingernail buffer to kind of round off the edge. And I'm trying to get the light. I know it's a different light setting, so please pardon me. There we go. You guys can see that it is very nicely rounded now. Quite happy with the way this thing turned out, and I'm going to show you guys what it is right now. See that? That is great. That's really, really good. It works for me. Pretty bad lighting. I have to apologize. I'm gonna shift the lighting kind of like here. I think this would be good, yeah, so that you guys can see from the front. There we go. So there is now a recessed area. Basically, I created that recessed area so it's easier for my thumb to disengage the lock bar. I don't have to twist it into that funny direction or that funny angle anymore. I can just disengage it like any other frame lock or liner lock knife. I'm really happy with that right now. That's just me making the Feist slightly better. Oh no, I keep missing that flick open now because I'm just really excited about this. So hold on, let me just do that right. I have to redeem myself here. There we go. And then when I close it, it's just that simple now. I'm so happy with this. I really am very, very happy with this. Wow, it feels so much better now. Like, honestly speaking, I don't regret doing that at all. It is awesome. I love it. Yep, and that is it, everyone, for real this time. Thanks for watching, and I'll catch you in the next slice of my life. Until then, everyone, gaga boost.